bisexual Native American character who enjoys swimming. Yeah. Yeah, like an athletic, bisexual Native American character who's kind of overconfident, doesn't have a lot of doubts about his own abilities, and he would exist in a universe of... I really don't know. You know, I think there's a real lack of Native American characters in all manner of fiction. Like, we see plenty of Asian or Black or Hispanic characters, but no Native Americans. You know, what's the deal with that? Whenever we see a Native American character, he's always like the standard, sitting bear, or by the spirits of my ancestors. Highly offensive Native American stereotype. That might as well be like the logo for the Redskins or something. That's all of Lost Creed 93's questions. Godzilla Sith Lord asks, what is your favorite alien race from a video game? I can tell you my least favorite alien race from a video game, and that's the Flood from Halo. Fuck! I hated those things. I mean, it's not that they were creepy or anything, it's just they were so goddamn annoying. Holy shit, I hated the Flood so much. I cannot begin to tell you how much I despised the Flood. It's just, those fuckers they just never stopped coming. As far as my favorite alien race, anybody ever played the game Destroy All Humans? I thought the Furons, that was a pretty cool race. The character Crypto was a pretty amusing character. I think probably the one race that intimidated me the most were the Metroids from the Metroid games. Simply because if those things got a hold of you, they would drain everything. They would drain your whole life, and there would be nothing you could do about it. Samus would just be completely helpless while she was getting completely violated by this giant space jellyfish with fangs. So that's that. Gydex Viller. Interesting name. If you could make your own supervillain, what name and power would you give him? More people asking me to freaking make up my own characters on the go. Oh boy. I would call him half dragon, half dinosaur man. And he would have the wings of a dragon and the lower half of a dragon's body on top. And on top there would be a dinosaur's body. And he would be fused due to a nuclear explosion inside of a volcano. But he would be born into a world run by anthropomorphic ferrets. And I'm just making shit up. I'm sorry, I'm just not good at coming up with stuff on the fly. I'm sorry, man, I failed you. Has anyone else said that you look like the actor Sean Penn? Oh, this is also from Mount Vernon Kid. Yeah, this has sort of come a lot recently, but that's not the only actor that people have compared me to. I've had people say I look like a lot of different actors and celebrities and whatnot. What is one of your favorite lines in a movie? Wait for it. Wait for it.
To crush our enemies, to see them driven before us, and to hear the lamentation of the women.
Yeah. Also, another really awesome line of mine is from the original 1950s. The thing that the Thing from Another World. There you go. The original version of The Thing, where it's like the guys. It's at the very end of the movie, where the dude's on the microphone. And he's like, "Look towards the skies. Watch them. Keep watching the skies." I don't know what it is about that line, but that was so eerie and foreboding and kind of powerful. That was just a very creepy and sort of, epic line. I think for me, it's probably one of the most amazing line deliveries in all of science fiction history. Are you going to see the new Judge Dredd movie? I'm a little, I kind of wish they would, the fact that Dredd's not gonna take his helmet off is definitely a big plus for me. I would have liked to see Judge Doom in there, because he's an awesome villain from the comics, but I'll give the movie a fair chance. As a friend, what word would you use to describe me? You, Chris? The word I'd probably use to describe you is jolly. Because I haven't seen that many videos where you're really angry or depressed or anything. You just seem to be in a very optimistic mood in most of the videos I see you in. Chris Pine as Barry Allen. Yeah, I can see that. I can totally see that. If they can ever get their thumbs out of their ass and actually make a Flash movie, then yeah, Chris Pine would be a fine Barry Allen. And on to Pop Culture Diva 42, who asks, "Congratulations! Now can you please tell me, what hair products do you use? Your hair always has so much volume." Ooh, coming on to me? Ooh, yes. No, I'm just kidding. But to be honest, my hair, I don't use anything in it at all. All I do is that I just take a shower or a bath, just, depending on what I feel like. I just comb my hair back, just let it shape itself. I don't do anything to it. I don't spray it at all. Well, I mean, I've sprayed it a little bit tonight, but I usually pretty much never spray it at all. But thank you for asking, though. It's good to know that. It's good to know that you care so much about my hair. You still look very sexy, even with the little weird haircut you have, if you don't mind me saying. If you had to eat a raccoon, how would you cook it? So we've gone from you complimenting my beautiful shiny hair to talking about how I would eat a raccoon, huh? I would probably just find, as hot as it's been this summer, if I were to eat a raccoon and cook it, I would just find some rock somewhere in this 100-degree weather, put the raccoon on that rock, leave it there for a couple of hours, then I'll come back and it'll be ready to eat. That's literally how hot it is. Thank you for your questions, Deanna. I enjoyed answering them. Next up is Action Fan 19. And way to go on 300 subs. What do you think of the idea of a crossover with Marvel and the Masters of the Universe? There's this one Marvel character that not a lot of people know about called Killraven. Well, I'm pretty sure was one of the big inspirations for He-Man. So if Killraven and He-Man actually met, that would be pretty damn sweet. Would you enjoy having the powers of Generator Rex? I haven't even watched Generator Rex. I know nothing about it, so I don't really know what his powers are. Which voice actor would you want to meet the most? Ooh, tough one. I wouldn't mind meeting Crispin Freeman. dude's got a fucking beast-ass voice. You know, especially listening to him as Alucard from Hellsing, he's like, "You need to drink your blood, police girl." It's like, the dude just has such a commanding, manly voice. But yeah, I'd love to meet Crispin Freeman and, maybe, Frank Welker as well. And Peter Cullen too. Meet both Optimus Prime and Megatron themselves. That would be pretty damn sweet. Do you think the Ben 10 franchise should finally stop? I'm almost hesitant. I don't really want to say anything negative because I know my friend is a huge Ben 10 fan. To be honest, not really. I don't really see the harm with Ben 10. To me, it's not really that old. So, I mean, I don't really think it should stop. What do you think would happen if Neil Patrick Harris and Bruce Campbell high-fived? We don't dare talk about that. That would be the equivalent of, two molecular atoms being fired at each other and they both hit each other on contact. It would cause the entire universe to explode. And while you're at it, Neil Patrick Harris would probably try to seduce Bruce Campbell, and they would probably have hardcore gay sex on top of all of the world population's corpses. Yeah. And if you had to meet Jeff Loeb in person, would you kick him in the crotch? Oh, believe me, I would do so much more than that. Ooh, you have no idea. PC Veteran 117, I mean, what are you going to do after your Superman marathon? Have you read the Dark... sorry, I should answer that one. Superman marathon, I'm going to just resume Supervillains Explored, back to business as usual. Have you read the Dark Tower series by Stephen King? Nope, but I have heard good things about it. It's just one of the millions of other things I need to read or watch or whatever. Do you think that comic books are better than the literature that schools force everyone to read? I'll tell you what. I would much rather read the Death and Return of Superman and Watchmen and The Sandman than having to read fucking Romeo and Juliet or The Great Gatsby or whatever. So yeah, in other words, I agree with this statement. And the fact that they're making a new freaking Great Gatsby movie, I can't even fathom. Just some boring ass story about a bunch of pretentious rich people or something. I don't understand the attraction of that. What are you gonna do when you hit 400 subscriptions? Maybe another Q&A. The reason I didn't do one when I hit 200 subscribers is just because I didn't realize I had 200 subscribers until I already had like 250 subscribers, and I was like, I missed out. I missed out on my opportunity to do another Q&A, so I just figured I'll do one now. Did Marvel write a crossover between G.I. Joe and the Avengers? Not to my knowledge, they haven't. Or maybe they have. I know there was a Transformers Avengers crossover comic, but G.I. Joe and Avengers? No, so far to my knowledge that hasn't happened. What's the longest graphic novel ever written? I don't know. I guess if they adapted War and Peace into a graphic novel, that would be the longest one ever written. I hope that answers your question. If you had to remake your Supervillains Explored series, how would you animate it? if I had to remake it, what I would probably do is that I would do pretty much what B-rated Bad Guy does. I would just take a bunch of comic pages and use them for examples. That's probably what I would do. Damn cat. Whiny little creature. What's your opinion on the DC reboots so far? I read a couple of New 52 books and I liked them a good bit, but after hearing friends of mine about some of the horrible decisions that were made in some of the other comics like Wonder Woman, Animal Man, and whatnot, I was like, no. No. I'm not doing this. But people are gonna enjoy seeing my cat. Where's Varmley? I assume you're talking about Varmalis. In that case, I'm saving him for the Varmalis Returns segment. Next up is from my good friend Clanders, and he asks, would you like to have BBC or another TV company make a dinosaur documentary about everything we know about dinosaurs today by having season 1 being all about the Triassic period, about all species we know from the early Triassic to the end of the Triassic, and season 2 based on the Jurassic period, and so blah blah, so on and so forth? That sounds like a great idea, personally. I would love to watch that. I mean, I would probably learn some things that I didn't know before. So that would be a badass idea. I think the ratings for that would be pretty sweet too. Be like a History Channel thing or something, because the History Channel is pretty damn popular. Which dinosaur is your favorite? You know, I always liked, as far as my favorite theropod goes, I always liked Allosaurus. I always thought Allosaurus was a pretty cool dinosaur. As far as like, Carcharodontosaurus is another one who I think is pretty cool. As far as my favorite plant eaters, just about any dinosaur from maybe the Ceratopsian family or something. You know, Triceratops, Styracosaurus. You know, those dinosaur variations. Yeah, and Anthony Thomas, what's your thought on Man of Steel? I already answered this one. Also, what's your thought on a Batman reboot and what direction should it take? We shouldn't have Bruce Wayne and his origins crammed down our throats again. We pretty much know everything that happens in Batman's history. Come on. God damn cat. We pretty much know everything about Bruce Wayne. We don't need to see Bruce Wayne again. We really don't. I mean, I heard they were discussing doing a Batman Beyond movie, and hell, that would be awesome. I would love to see a movie about Terry McGinnis. Rapperfest has about 3 questions for me. What do you believe are the top character and story cliches that need to die or to avoid yeah, kind of have a little grammar fuck up there, Rapperfest. But basically, he asks, what character and story cliches need to be avoided? Here's an idea. Why not make a superhero character who doesn't have a tragic backstory of any type? You know, that doesn't necessarily have to come from a comic book. Just be it so that, oh yeah, a superhero character who has, you know, who has it pretty well in life, but still wants to do more. You know, or maybe make a character that doesn't really need any purpose or reason to do something, Other than have it just be he just does it. Not make it so that, oh, my father was murdered, or my mother was murdered, or my parents were murdered. You know, I think too often in movies now, characters need a reason to do something. Let's just make it so that they just happen to do it, and then it happens or something, you know? They always need some kind of backstory to provide a motivation or something. To me, that just gets tiresome. It gets extremely tiresome. What makes a good protagonist and what makes a good villain? To me, what makes a good protagonist is, well, I'm probably not going to say anything that hasn't been said before, but somebody who faces some kind of problems, you know, like all the rest of us do. Somebody you can identify with, somebody who's sort of been left out of the loop. Maybe somebody with some kind of handicap, you know, a cripple or a freaking mental handicap of some kind. You know, one of my favorite books, you know, the book Starship Troopers, written by Robert Heinlein, the one that they made that movie out of, that I will not speak of. The main character, Rico, his sole motivation for wanting to join the military is because he's a spoiled, pampered, rich kid who's had it completely easy in life, and he wants to learn how to be a real man and how to actually live a life that has hardship and that has, you know, efforts and work in it and responsibility and whatnot. You know, a character who has admirable ambitions and motivations, who wants to do the right thing, who wants to do something that we would want to do, and for reasons that wouldn't be too dissimilar from ours. And what makes a good villain is somebody you can truly despise on a personal level. For me, some of the greatest comic book villains are the great manipulators, such as the Leader from the Hulk comics, Darkseid, Thanos, freaking the Jackal. These are, to me, are the most despicable villains for me because they just manipulate things. They control people. They inadvertently make people do things. And to me, that is somebody that I can absolutely despise because I don't like the idea of somebody controlling me, dictating me, you know, making me do something for their own sick amusement. So a good villain has to be somebody who can just literally, you can absolutely despise on a personal level. That if you knew this person in real life, you would want to choke him to death or something. That's probably not the most creative answer you've ever heard, but, you know, it's what I believe. What bothers you the most about non-mainstream comics outside DC and Marvel? The availability? I found that some comics are pretty difficult to find. I'd like it more if maybe some of these companies would take the initiative to reprint. Some of the non-Marvel and DC companies should really take the initiative to try to do a better job at reprinting the old obscure stuff that they have. You know, like, I can't really find a whole lot of trades of certain Image characters that I like, or certain Dark Horse characters that I like, so the whole availability is kind of a problem. So yeah. Alright, a few more questions. Ooh, a lot more questions from Linear Man. Which film remake do you not want to happen? 2001: A Space Odyssey. If somebody tries to remake that, then I will literally rally an army of rebels and burn down the burn down the base of operations for whatever studio is heading the remake for that. You don't mess with my favorite movie of all time. No. No, 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 no. You can... I let them get away with a lot of stuff, but never 2001. Do you watch Toonami? I used to watch Toonami a lot back when I was real young, but I haven't watched new Toonami. What if you trolled Lex Luthor via 4chan? You know, even though I despise Lex Luthor, I probably wouldn't be dumb enough to try to troll somebody who could literally hire, you know, a whole bunch of supervillains that would murder my ass. Whoa. So I probably wouldn't troll Lex Luthor. Who's your favorite independent comic book company? Probably Dark Horse. I love reading Dark Horse stuff. If you were given the job of creating a new villain for the following: A. Godzilla, B. Mass Effect, C. Elder Scrolls, D. Guyver, where would you start? What would their attributes be? Their personality? Man, that's a tough one. Man. I guess one thing they would all have in common is they would all be supernatural. They would all be supernatural. Even Mass Effect. Yeah, I'll even go as far as to say is, you know, bring some supernatural stuff into Mass Effect. They've already got, you know, biotics and space magic and the fucking Star Child. But yeah. Godzilla and Elder Scrolls, you know, they have some fantasy elements. Guyver and Mass Effect, both sci-fi. Maybe it'd be a welcome change of pace to bring in some fantasy, some supernatural stuff in there. Attributes would be omnipotence, I suppose. Super strength, super speed. A very cool looking, intimidating design. Personality. Can't really answer that. If you were placed inside a video game, what would your first reaction be? Holy shit, where the fuck am I? Why does everything look so polygonal? Why does everything look so polygonal? Why does everything look all shiny and plasticky? What am I doing here? How the fuck do I get out? Somebody help me. That'd be about right for my reaction to being in a video game. If Lucifer, Darkseid, Thanos, and Necron were in the same room, what would happen? Would they get along or roast the entire Earth? You know, I think Darkseid and Thanos would probably... I think Darkseid and Thanos would probably be the civilized ones, but I get the feeling that Necron and Satan wouldn't get along too well. So, yeah, I think Darkseid and Thanos would be the civilized, you know, diplomatic characters, I guess you could say. And the last few questions from Linear Man are, what bothers you the most about TV in general? This is easy for me. The ratings. The whole rating system for TV and movies makes no sense to me at all. Because in TV, in shows like Family Guy or South Park, which are extremely raunchy, which are extremely mature, you know, they're allowed to say stuff like bitch and crap or damn, or they're allowed to say a certain limited amount of swear words. They're allowed to show lots of blood and drugs and sex and stuff. But any further R-rated material from that, such as graphic nudity, you know, even more graphic gore and violence and use of words like fuck or cunt or shit, you know, that's completely unacceptable. Even though these shows already have so much offensive and downright, you know, immature, raunchy-ass humor going about them. That makes no sense to me at all. And the fact that they actually have to arrange for uncensored versions of certain episodes or of certain, like, comedy skits, that fucking pisses me off. To me, if you're going to watch these shows and you're already going to be exposed to all this, you know, all the vulgarity that's in there, you should be able to take it full swing. It's the same principle as going to an R-rated film. If you watch a TV-14 or a TV-MA rated show, it's about the same thing as watching an R-rated movie. It shouldn't fucking matter what content is in there. Nothing on TV should be censored at all. That's probably the one thing that annoys me the most about TV is the censorship. It's bullshit. It pisses me off. It's fucking arbitrary and it makes no sense. What if Deadpool met the Griffin family and took over Family Guy? Well, if that was the case, I'd probably enjoy watching Family Guy. What makes you rage? You haven't been watching my videos a lot, have you? I think you would learn by now that just about anything under the sun makes me rage. So yeah. What if Varmalis met the Dovahkiin? Fuck the Dovahkiin, he'd probably want to take on some of those dragons like Alduin. It was like, yeah, you're a dragon. You ain't shit. You should have seen me in my great old one days. What games from E3 are you most looking forward to? Darksiders 2, I'm absolutely psyched for. I can't wait to get Darksiders 2 when that comes out. Sleeping Dogs, that game looks interesting. I'm gonna check that game out at some point. I liked the true crime games. I thought those games were actually pretty cool, so I'll definitely give Sleeping Dogs a try. Assassin's Creed 3 looks great. Resident Evil 6, I'm curious about. Anything else? I'm still waiting for that Last Guardian game to come out. I haven't heard anything about that. Wish I knew what the ETA on that was. That's about it as far as E3. South Park, like or dislike? I think South Park's sort of gone down the same road as Family Guy in that the humor has become incredibly forced and stale. South Park used to be hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I couldn't get enough of South Park, but now it's just... they just try too hard with the humor, and it's not funny at all. How do you make villains like Doomsday relevant? Good writing, that's how. If you, Ziploc Gory, Deadpoolzilla, Mount Vernon Kid, and Sly Cooper 88 each created their own animated show, which one would be on top? Oh boy. Mine would be on top. Because I'm the best one out of all of those other guys. Fuck them. I'm the best. Nah, I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, my buddy, I guess maybe my buddy Steve, I'm not entirely sure. He's crazy. He's got a ridiculous, weird imagination. I don't really know. All of us are have pretty vivid imaginations. So I don't really know. And speaking of which, the next 5 questions comes from my good friend Ziploc Gory. What movie director do you What movie director do you aspire to the most? I am a huge, huge fan of John Carpenter. To me, Carpenter is probably one of the most creative filmmakers who ever lived. Because every single movie that Carpenter has made is memorable in some kind of way. Because it's like his first movie was Dark Star, which was like a science fiction comedy, and then he made Assault on Precinct 13, which was like a Howard Hawks, John Wayne, Old West type standoff movie, mixed in with a little bit of zombieism. It was an intense, fantastic action movie. Then after that, he made Halloween. And that's Halloween. I think that speaks for itself. And after that, he made, he did The Fog. And after that, he did Escape from New York. A hugely ambitious, but also insanely creative sci-fi movie with a huge epic scale. And then The Thing. It's just, dude, Carpenter is a master. He is one of the most creative filmmakers ever, and I hope to apply that same amount of creativity to my movies as well. I want to make my movies unique and maybe try to make movie going interesting and inspire some creativity and some inspiration into the film industry again. That's my ultimate goal in life, really. Because cinema nowadays is just stale, shovelware. What is your biggest fear about the future of mankind? I'd probably have to say nuclear Armageddon. Even so, that's probably not my biggest fear because, when that happens, it happens. There's nothing you can do about everybody getting wiped out. It's like, oh well, it sucks. I tried to live a good life, but apparently, the rest of humanity wouldn't let me. I reckon pollution's kind of a big problem too, but there's, thousands and millions of people in the world who are dedicated to trying to stop pollution, so I don't exactly worry about that too much. I'm not saying that I'm slacking off and, I'm not paying attention to anti-pollution stuff or anyways. I do the best I can to help the environment. But it's not really my biggest fear concerning mankind. What would you do to make Batman laugh or crack a smile? Show him like a lesbian softcore porn video between Catwoman and Talia. That's my best idea. Next question. Name one thing that would make Superman stop being Superman. One thing that would make Superman stop being Superman would probably be, without a doubt, take away his being raised by Jonathan and Martha Kent. If he wasn't raised on a humble little farm out in the middle of nowhere with, regular, stereotypical, old-fashioned American morals and values, Superman would not be Superman. That's just all there is to it. Besides vampires, werewolves, and zombies, what is one other ancient mythological beast or creature you think needs to be explored more in mainstream media? Oh, there's a lot. I always liked the Sphinx, or the Chimera, or the Manticore, or freaking the Loch Ness Monster. I feel like the Kraken has been explored pretty deeply. The Leviathan, the giant mythical sea serpent from the biblical mythology. Cthulhu. Where the fuck's my Cthulhu movie, you assholes? There's a multitude of huge the Chupacabra, the freaking Jersey Devil. There's all kinds of weird creatures that have yet to be explored in media. Certainly not a shortage of it for us to be resorting to making movies about giant rabbits. Alright, and the last 10 questions of this whole Q&A are from my good buddy, Mr. Sly Cooper 88. Just getting up off my ass here and standing straight. Alright, the first question that Steve asks, who do you think would win this epic nerd battle? Deadpool's love of B. Arthur from Golden Girls or Batmite's creepy bat fetish? Deadpool would do anything for B. Arthur, and Batmite wouldn't stand a chance. Without a doubt. If Chemo was made into a slushy machine, which flavor do you think would come? Of course, my friend Steve has to ask the weirdest fucking questions. You know, judging from the way Chemo looks, he looks very, he sort of looks very, Mountain Dew-esque. Mountain Dew-esque, yeah. So he'd probably be like a Mountain Dew / maybe Sprite slushy or something. If you could form your own comic-verse Expendables team, who would you pick and why? I would probably pick Doc Savage. I'd pick Gladiator from the Shi'ar Empire. I'd pick Hercules. You know, I'm sort of pulling from manga here, but in my opinion, it's still comic books. But Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. Freaking Batman, I guess, since he's pretty much, you know, a macho comic book badass. Aquaman, yeah, I think that's a pretty good team to have. Which is scarier, Darkseid in a two-piece, Anti-Monitor in a banana hammock, Granny Goodness nude, or Joker in a thong? Granny Goodness nude tops all of those other ones. Rocket Raccoon in Looney Tunes, good idea or bad idea? Looney Tunes itself, not a very good idea, but in like a Looney Tunes spoof, that would be brilliant. Alright, number 6. Can you explain the theory of how Rob Liefeld is still drawing comics today? Here's the thing about Rob Liefeld. He was popular in an age where big muscles along with guns and swords and other adolescent, you know, immature teen fantasies were pretty much all the rage. And so extremely big, intimidating, violent characters like that were really popular, and Liefeld really had the ability to capture that aggressive, angsty feeling. So that probably explains why he was popular in the 90s, but as far as now, no, I can't really explain how Liefeld is still drawing. Because he can't draw. Should chocolate be listed as one of Martian Manhunter's weaknesses? I wouldn't say so much as a weakness, but I would sort of say maybe chocolate was sort of John Jones's red kryptonite, because it pretty much causes him to go berserk. Yeah. Well, at least judging from what you've told me, Steve. Ugh. Are there... Wait. Okay. Are there certain boundaries a comic shouldn't cross? E.g., Harley Quinn making out with Deadshot wearing Joker's skin flap, or Savage Dragon fighting, Beast Chick who uses ant flow as a weapon. To me that just purely depends on the comic itself and whether, it's intended for adults or for kids. For example, I don't think any kid would ever want to see a scene where Harley Quinn puts the Joker's severed face on Deadshot's face while trying to make out with him. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with these writers? Putting shit like that in there. If I read something like that, I expect there to be a level of fun in these comics, even if they are kind of violent and mature. That's not fun, it's just fucking disgusting. But yeah, I think everybody's pretty much said that a superhero comic, with a superhero who's popular with kids, that features sex and violence and stuff is completely inappropriate. Do you believe comics should go back to basics? Not entirely sure what you mean by that. If you're talking about should it go back to the golden age where everything was really cheesy and cornballish and logic was pretty much taken with a grain of salt, I don't know, it might be interesting for like a couple of years or so. And the last question in this whole Q&A: what are some villains you'd like to see come to the big screen like Mongol and Superman? Without a doubt, if they do a Fantastic Four reboot, the first villain I want to see there is Annihilus. Bar none. No questions asked. Annihilus needs to be the villain. I want to see Annihilus, I want to see Blastar, I want to see Galactus done right. I would like to see... I'd like to see a Batman movie with Man-Bat in it. And at some point in the Avengers, I would love to see Ultron. That's all I can really think of. I think if they do a Flash movie, I think the first villain they should do is the Reverse Flash. Well, everyone, those are all of my questions for this Q&A. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later.